There are strange things caught on camera, and then there's this and this. No clear explanation, no obvious trick, just a moment that makes you question everything. My name's Steve, and this is Classified Captures. Before we start going into the following clips, let's take a look at this, because what you see might not always be what it seems. This footage was captured by a witness who noticed the silhouette of a huge creature walking up a hill. The figure appeared to be completely covered in hair with long arms that extended well past its knees. Each step it takes is slow, but it covers a surprising amount of ground. Without even being close, you can tell that thing is huge and strong. From its sheer size, body proportions, and the way it walks, many believe this could only be Bigfoot. The long arms, massive frame, and upright posture match countless eyewitness descriptions of the elusive creature. As with almost every Bigfoot post, there are skeptics, and this time they argue that it's most likely a person in a costume. They also state that if it's not the case, we're most likely dealing with an illusion created either by perspective or light. To those who believe this is authentic, however, this, to them, is one of the most convincing captures yet. Could this really be the long-awaited proof of the legendary forest giant? You've seen the clip, so what do you think? So, I know I always call most clips weird, but believe me when I say this one really is weird. At first glance, it doesn't look like a match, but the more you watch the clip, the more it becomes obvious that there's something weird going on here. The one who uploaded the clip claims to have randomly noticed this thing moving in his vicinity and recorded it. He then asked the question, are we being surveyed? It might sound like a silly question, but think about it. The thing you see on your screen looks like a drone, but I'm not able to tell what kind of drone it actually is. Also, the low quality of the clip makes it hard to tell exactly what it is. While many argue that this was indeed the government spying on us, some sections of the community enhanced the footage on their own screens and claimed that this supposed drone allegedly had someone in it. Yeah, you heard that right. Now, that's interesting if it's true, but we can't confirm that given the quality of the footage, and any attempt to do so will lead us to see, well, what we want to see. But then again, that's just me. You've seen the clip. What do you think? At first glance, this looks like the kind of gooey soup your mom would make you when you're unwell. Yeah? No? Well, was it just me? Oh, okay. Anyway, do you know what this is? Would you believe me if I told you it's made mostly from saliva? By that, I mean bird saliva. This unusual dish is called bird's nest soup, a centuries-old Chinese delicacy made from the hardened spit of swiftlets. It's been treasured for generations in Chinese culture, not just as a food, but as a symbol of wealth, health, and refinement. A single bowl can cost anywhere between $30 to $300, depending on the quality of the nest, making it one of the most expensive soups in the world. But price isn't the only fascinating thing about it. Bird's nest soup is packed with proteins, amino acids, and minerals that are said to promote skin health, boost the immune system, and even aid digestion. Still, not everyone is sold on the benefits, and risks do exist. Poorly cleaned nests can carry contaminants, and the rising demand has also raised concerns about the sustainability of harvesting. So here's the real question. Knowing that it's bird saliva, costly as gold with a mix of nutrition and risk, would you be willing to try it yourself? I don't think swallowing spit is really my thing. Is there technology out there that we haven't been told about yet? Take a look at this footage. It was filmed by a resident early one morning in the UK that stepped outside when they heard an unusual sound coming from above. Curious? They pointed their phone toward the sky, and that's when they caught something strange drifting by. At first, it looks like some sort of object floating through the air, but when you look closely, it appears to be a person standing on some kind of board gliding in the sky. The footage becomes even more unsettling when zoomed in. You can clearly see the figure wobbling slightly as if adjusting their balance. And they weren't just a few feet off the ground, they were so high up they towered over the rooftops and tree lines. Now, this isn't your everyday gadget or hobbyist drone. This has got some questions about whether this is real or not. Some think it's just CGI or doctored footage, whereas others believe this is the real deal. If it's real, it's unlike anything commercially available right now. So exactly what are we dealing with then? Some kind of secret military technology, an experimental hover device, or could it be something else entirely? No one can say for sure, but what do you also think? This one comes from Russia, and it was shared by a man who gave no specific details about his exact location. In the footage, we can make out this strange outline of lights arranged in a perfect circular formation. They seem to blink in a steady rhythm, almost as if they're communicating a part of a structured craft. We don't see the actual body of the object, only the lights, but the way they're positioned suggests there's something solid in the darkness, blending seamlessly with the night sky. The man didn't try to move closer, instead he tried zooming in from a distance. While that did give us a better clip, it still wasn't enough to determine what we're looking at or dealing with. Could this be the underside of a massive saucer-shaped craft, or just an unusual alignment of lights playing tricks on the camera? Whatever it is, the symmetry and precision are hard to ignore. Let's hear your thoughts on this one.
У нас тут летающая тарелка зависла. Вон она. И уже долго-долго мы ее наблюдаем здесь. Вон она. Жуткая, конечно, капец.
What do you think is going on here? This unsettling video was shot in Durham. In it, we see a strange-looking man standing eerily still. When the camera zooms in on his face, it becomes even more disturbing. His eyes are completely white, his mouth hangs open, and his head is tilted backwards in an unnatural way, pointing toward the ceiling. The rest of his body is hidden behind a cubicle wall, and from what we can see, he isn't moving normally. People in the background seem to be walking around the room, not paying any attention to him at all, as if nothing was out of the ordinary. There's no confirmation of where exactly this took place. Some viewers have speculated it might be a movie scene, but the footage doesn't look staged. Theories range from the man being possessed to him being a shapeshifter to him being under the influence of heavy drugs. In many parts of the world, people can end up in similar states after taking dangerous substances. But the fact that he's standing on both feet unnaturally still and with that chilling facial posture makes it all feel even creepier. Whatever the case, I hope this man gets the help he clearly needs. Next, we visit France, where this clip was recorded and has since gone viral. A group of campers had set up their trailer right in the middle of his property and decided to stay there, taking up space without permission. Authorities were called, but they didn't do much to remove the trespassers. After having had enough of the situation, the farmers decided to take matters into their own hands. They brought out their tractors and began spraying natural manure all over the area, hoping the strong smell would make the campers so uncomfortable they'd pack up and leave. While some praised them for taking matters into their own hands, others criticized them for being insensitive and claimed their actions were unnecessary. I certainly can't be the only one who noticed that some of the campers attempted to attack them. Anyway, where do you stand on all this? Who should be held accountable? If you live in Virginia, chances are that you've heard that kids are going missing. After a little digging around, my team and I discovered that the actual number of missing children between the 1st of August and the 13th, when we are penning this down, is 39. 39 kids have gone missing in 2 weeks, but how and why? A little more digging around revealed that this number is actually lower than usual. The average number of missing kids per week is 90. Over 3,300 children have gone missing in Virginia since January 2025. So what exactly is going on in West Virginia? There are many theories out there. There are some who believe that the ice cream trucks that work at night in the state are being used to carry out kidnapping activities. Here's the thing, though. After a little more research on my end, I discovered that out of the figure I mentioned, only 4% of the children are still missing. 96 have been found and returned to their parents. So again, what is going on? Some feel these children are being abducted, experimented on, and released to their parents. Sounds absurd, but usually kidnapping cases don't have success rates that high. Not everyone in the community accepts this, though. Some believe it only looks like this because the residents of Virginia are proactive in reporting these cases, allowing the police to take action quite early. Quite the unusual case, but what do you think? A mere coincidence that these kids are being abducted and found, or is there something more sinister ongoing? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. Houses carry memories, some good, some bad, and sometimes those memories don't stay silent. This man had been hearing strange noises coming from his walls. At first, they were faint, easy to dismiss, but as the days passed, the sounds grew louder and more disturbing. Finally, he decided he needed to find out what was going on. He went down into the crawl space beneath the house, expecting maybe a raccoon or some other animal had found its way inside, but instead of an animal, he found something else. As his flashlight swept across the cammed space, its beam bounced off the walls, and for a moment, he caught sight of a strange figure in the darkness. Its shape was crouched. The skin, if it can even be called that, looked gray in the dim light. The man insists this couldn't have been a person. The crawl space was damp, musty, and suffocating, with air barely fit to breathe. This was no place for humans to hide. So what was it? Could it have been a ghost? Spirits are said to inhabit empty spaces, and this cramped, forgotten part of the house seemed like the perfect place for something that doesn't want to be found. A man was hiking deep in the woods when he stumbled upon something strange, a small cave-like opening in the ground. It looked almost like a hidden tunnel leading into the darkness. Curiously, he stepped closer. That's when he heard a voice from inside. It didn't sound panicked or urgent, just a calm, eerie hello. Uneasy, he began backing away, planning to leave, but then he remembered his bike was parked nearby, not far from the cave. As he had to pass by it again, this time he picked up an old animal skull lying on the forest floor and, perhaps to test what was inside, tossed it into the cave. A moment later, the skull came flying back out toward him. Terrified, he bolted from the area and didn't look back. What could have been inside? Some say it might have been a person hiding underground. Others believe it could have been something like a Wendigo. In Algonquian legend, the Wendigo is a malevolent spirit associated with the cold, famine, and endless hunger. It's said to mimic human voices to lure people closer, calling out for help or simply greeting them. Once you're close enough, it strikes. Descriptions vary of its appearance. Some say it's skeletal and gaunt, others say that it has the head of a deer and the body of a man, but all agree on one thing. Once the Wendigo has marked you, it will not stop hunting. If that what was in the cave, then the man was lucky to get away at all. Not everyone buys into that, though. So what do you think?
It's like a trail just leading me. That was a bone I just broke. Why is that?
Help.
Hello? What the hell? Bro, I don't care about my bike. Hello? What the Yep, nope, I'm good. Not the way I wanted to go.
Would you agree to have a dead man's teeth placed in your mouth to replace your broken or rotten ones? Think about it. They're already dead. They don't need them anymore, so why not reuse them? Sounds crazy, right? Well, not for some people in India. There are actual roadside dentists there who openly offer dentures made from the teeth of the deceased. These so-called dentists set up on simple tables, often in dusty open-air markets, and their equipment can be as basic and unsanitary as you can imagine. Sometimes they even work without gloves, using their bare hands inside a patient's mouth, and yes, those procedures are often done without anesthesia. It's not hard to see the risks of poor hygiene, reused tools, and the obvious potential for spreading diseases, yet, despite all this, the practice is a market. Some people see it as a cheap alternative to expensive dental work, and in certain communities, it's been going on for generations. It's a booming business for them, but for me, I'd say no thanks. I'll stick to my teeth, or at least something that didn't once belong to a corpse. Would you be brave enough to try it? This video was uploaded by a woman called Di Ramirez after a strange incident in a cemetery. The clip playing was recorded by her sister, who had gone to visit their dad's grave. According to the narrative, she asked her sister to do the recording to help out in locating their dad's grave whenever she visited the place. When Di received the clip, however, she noticed something unusual. Do you see it? No? Well, take a second look. There's a strange figure peeping at her from one of the structures at the place. Do you see it now? Yeah. When Ramirez saw this, she panicked and called her sister immediately, asking her to be careful because she was not alone. When she finally reached her sister, she was relieved to hear her sister say that she was out of the cemetery. As comforting as that was to hear, it didn't explain the mystery. What was that strange-looking being tailing and watching her sister from a distance? Unable to answer the question herself, she uploaded the clip online, hoping she would get some answers. Some think it was a spirit being exploring the cemetery, while others think the whole clip was cooked up in an attempt to go viral. You've seen the clip, so what do you think? So, one of you here sent this clip in, asking if we could help determine what exactly a friend has sent to you. For the first few minutes of watching the clip on repeat, we couldn't put our finger on what it was that we were looking at. Some in the team suggested that we might be dealing with a hippo of sorts. Another also pointed out that some features weren't quite right to allow us to call it one. We watched it over and over, and then brought Julius in. He carefully examined the features of the creature and told us that it was fake. He stated that this was either a model being controlled by someone in the water or a CGI creation meant to mislead the simple-minded. When he made that last statement, we all stared in disbelief because we know he was referring to us. But enough about him. Do you guys agree with his assertion, or do you think he got this one wrong? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. This next footage comes from a passenger traveling on a train in Argentina. They were filming the passing scenery, casually recording the tree line when the train rushed past something that made their blood run cold. Standing among the trees was a pale figure of a person in a long white dress with long black hair that seemed to hang unnaturally still. The location was a remote wooded area far from any homes or paths, making it unlikely anyone would be there at all, let alone standing so close to a fast-moving train. Local reports claimed there was once a tragic accident at that exact spot where a train struck someone years ago. Ever since, some believe the spirit of the victim has lingered there, appearing to passing trains as a silent reminder of that fatal day. So, was this just a strange coincidence, or could this have been the ghost of a person who died there, still haunting that stretch of the track? What would you do if you woke up one morning to a strong stench in your backyard? You got to investigate, and then you see this. The clip starts off with a man walking up to a barrel holding up his nose. He opens it up and sees part in it. When he and the people with him initially saw this, they assumed the barrel had body parts. They shared the clip online and then called the police. By the time the police arrived, the clip had already gone viral, and they too initially weren't sure what they were dealing with because of the smell. Some of the clips uploaded showed the police also holding their noses because of the strong smell. After running the necessary tests, the police confirmed that the items inside the barrel weren't human parts, they were just animal parts. While that's a relief, some in the community are questioning why they were barrels with animal parts in someone's backyard. There are many theories ranging from smuggling to rituals, which is the right answer. That's a question we'll never really get an answer to.
I don't know. Let's do this again. This smells.
I think an alleyway. It's been sitting out here, and there looks like there's body parts in it.
I don't think so.
548.
Fucking stinks though.
A man was jolted awake in the middle of the night by the sound of his dogs barking furiously. Judging by the way they barked, he knew something unusual was out there, but fear kept him from stepping outside. The next morning, he decided to review his security footage, and what he saw left him stunned. Across the street was this strange figure walking, but this was no human. It looked eerily like a grey alien, its body unnervingly thin with an oversized head and massive black unblinking eyes. Even stranger, the figure seemed to flicker in and out of reality as it moved. The dogs had clearly noticed it too. Their barking followed its path until it finally disappeared from view. Zooming in only made it creepier. Skeptics claim it could just be a hoax, but others insist it's not, since dogs are known to pick up on things in the dark that humans can't. So did this man fake it, or did he actually capture an alien? A man was out by the Chipola River when he came across something unusual along the riverbank, a trail of strange footprints. What immediately caught his attention was that these prints were of bare feet, but far too large and deep to belong to an ordinary person. The tracks led straight into the water, disappearing beneath the river's surface, indicating that whoever made them had simply waded in and kept going. According to the witness, the sheer depth of the impression suggested something heavy and powerful had made them. The suggested creature was a skunk ape. For those unfamiliar, skunk apes are said to be Florida's version of Bigfoot. They're large ape-like creatures that live deep in swamp and forests, known for their foul smell and reclusive nature. Sightings have been rare, but they always leave behind one eerie clue, like massive barefoot tracks just like these. So was this just a barefoot hiker braving the river, or evidence that Florida's most elusive cryptid still roams its wild places? The higher you climb in knowledge, the more you realize how much it has been hidden from us, especially the idea that humans are not the only intelligent beings to ever walk the earth. Even archaeology is starting to crack open that narrative. In Siberia, archaeologists unearthed something extraordinary, this 40,000-year-old bracelet carved from a rare green stone, but the evidence suggests it wasn't made by humans at all. Instead, it was crafted by a mysterious and highly skilled ancient group known as the Denisovans. The Denisovans are an extinct human-like species that split from our ancestors hundreds of thousands of years ago. What's shocking is that the craftsmanship of these bracelets is something we shouldn't have expected from any group living in that era. It hints at a level of technology and artistry that defies what history books have told us. So if a species like the Denisovans could create advanced works of art and technology tens of thousands of years ago, what else has been lost to time, buried in the earth, waiting to challenge everything we think we know? A witness in Wisconsin shared footage showing a string of glowing orbs moving across the night sky. The most popular explanation for something like this is a UFO, but let's hold our horses. There are plenty of other objects floating through our atmosphere, not all of them are alien. In fact, do you know what satellites look like from down here on Earth? When they're released and make their way into orbit, they can appear as a line of bright moving dots, almost like pearls on an invisible string. Thanks to projects like Starlink, there are now thousands of these satellites circling the globe, with more being launched all the time. So it's no surprise that sightings like this happen more often, and yes, this one has been confirmed to be Starlink satellites. So, no cause for alarm this time, but a healthy bit of skepticism is a pretty good thing, especially in this day and age. Would you jump into this for $1 million? And before you answer, think carefully. We just saw an unknown aquatic creature demolish the chunk of meat someone tossed in. If you said no, thinking it was a shark or some other terror, the reality might surprise you. That hungry mouth belongs to a Goliath grouper. Would it harm you if you jumped in? Not likely. Goliath groupers are massive reef fish, often 2 meters long and pushing 300 kilos. But they're not people hunters. They feed by vacuum power, opening a cavernous mouth to suck in fish, crabs, lobsters, and sometimes small sharks. They're curious and bold around food, and that snap can bruise or badly bite if you get too close, especially if you're spearfishing or hand feeding. But they don't see adult humans as prey. So what just happened? You watched a living underwater vacuum cleaner at work. These giants look around wrecks, reefs, and pilings from Florida and the Caribbean to Brazil and West Africa, waiting for an easy meal. Protected in many places, they are a reminder not to tease or feed wildlife, because that's when accidents happen. Now here is the real question. Knowing it's a Goliath grouper, not a shark, would you still jump in for $1 million, or would that thunderclap gulf be enough to keep you on the boat? Personally, I wouldn't take my chances. I know there's always some sort of conspiracy out there that the aliens are coming, but this one's specific. Different individuals from around the world are reporting that a large spaceship could be arriving in a little over a month, early October to be precise. This report came from a Russian creator who even pointed out that President Trump's meeting with Putin was no coincidence. She believes it was a strategic meeting that had something to do with these oncoming aliens without alerting the masses. A creator in the US also sheds more light on this, claiming that the incoming aliens are actually communicating with some Earthlings from Harvard. They've allegedly informed these smart Harvard scientists that they aren't the enemy, but the enemy is right behind them, also heading for planet Earth. There are some news articles and reports to suggest the fact that the James Webb Space Telescope picked up a strange object heading towards Earth at great speeds. This strange object is what many suspect to be the alien ship. As with all these things, they're alleged and not confirmed. Some in the community, however, believe this is the real deal. Have you seen anything on this, and what are your thoughts?
So now not only American news but also Russian news are supporting the theory that UFO is coming to us in October, and Russia is preparing for like a UFO attack. I've been doubting about this, and I thought that maybe this is a news distraction from the situation, from the meeting between Donald Trump and Putin in Alaska, to have some other important news. But honestly, I don't feel funny anymore.
Aliens that are supposed to be coming in 2 weeks. I guess they're talking to the people at Harvard. They told them that they are not the Anunnaki who they thought that that's who was coming. Also, their mothership is 12 miles long. And he said that it's not really them you have to worry about. You actually need to worry about the aliens coming up behind them, because they're the real bad aliens. And even these aliens that are supposed to be here in 2 weeks are scared of the aliens coming up behind them. So I guess, we got that to look forward to.
Imagine boarding a plane and finding someone who looks exactly like you sitting in your seat. Not just kind of similar, but full-on same hair, same ginger beard, same grin, like looking into a living mirror. Well, that's exactly what happened to Neil Douglas on a flight from London to Galway. The man in his seat was Robert Sterling, and the resemblance was so uncanny that their mid-flight selfie instantly went viral. But here's where it gets even weirder. When they landed, Neil went to check into his hotel only to find Robert had checked into the same one. No relation, no setup, just pure coincidence. So what do you think? Are they long-lost twins, or is this one of those eerie doppelganger mysteries that science cannot quite explain? And be honest, what would you do if you came face to face with yourself? Speaking of people looking like other people, these three friends were going out and waiting for one more person to join them. They'd been waiting for a while when that one friend who was late sent them a message telling them she'd be there soon with one other friend of theirs. The problem with this message was that the person who mentioned she was coming with another was already in the car. This had them wondering if the one in the car was a doppelganger or something along those lines. You can tell they're visibly confused because the person who was supposedly almost there was a fourth friend was already in the back seat. They uploaded the clip online, adding what happened with their friend. For a while, people online were as confused as the three friends, until one person mentioned that the message everyone saw was most likely a delayed message. But if it was a delayed message, the ladies should have known, right? In fact, the person sitting in the back seat should have been the one to tell them it was a delayed message and that the fourth friend was going to be coming was en route or not. But that's not what happened, which was why there was confusion. Unless there's a logical explanation for the person suddenly forgetting, there might be more to this story. Anyway, what do you think? A subscriber here had repeatedly been sending us this link to review. The thing about this particular clip is, we've looked at it before, but I guess this person is a new subscriber. In the clip, we see a young man talking about Bigfoot and showing off some parts. The guy behind it definitely comes across as a bit eccentric, leaning hard into satire and comedy with a paranormal twist. But here's the strange part. The bodies he shows off actually look eerily convincing. Take the head, for example. That frozen grin almost makes you wonder what on earth he used to pull it off. The man, Peter, spins a tale that his father supposedly gunned down Bigfoot years ago, kept it on ice, and is now finally revealing it to the world. Of course, it's all tongue-in-cheek. He runs a parody channel, and honestly, he's good at what he does. His prompts and storytelling are so polished that you cannot help but give him credit. None of it is genuine, of course, though when he turns his camera toward animals, those clips seem legit. He got us the first time we watched his clips, as we almost believed some of them. But alas, we know better now. So to our subscriber who's intrigued by his videos, as interesting and realistic as they may come off and sound, this man is just a good storyteller with very good prompts to match.
My father always warned me. He said, Peter, if you show the Bigfoot head, it's going to cause problems in your life, and it has. And he also warned me that if the government knows about it, they're going to come and get it, they're going to take it away, that there's going to be a huge government cover-up because they don't want people to know the truth about Bigfoot.
And just like that, we're back to another one of these spooky images. Before I say anything, can you spot the odd thing about this photograph? No? At first glance, this looks like a very old photo of a happy family, but the more you look, the more you realize that there's one character in there that does not fit. And that character is the old man standing between the two men. When the photo was brought to my desk by our intern, I felt the old man was a late family member or something along those lines. If you followed these sorts of posts, you know that's usually the case. After a bit of investigation, however, it became evident that the family in the photograph didn't know who he was or how he even showed up in the photo. The original uploader of the clip online isn't sure who it is, but feels it might be the spirit of someone who might have died in the vicinity. Some in the paranormal community have advised him to look through old family photographs to see if he's a relative, whereas others have advised him to leave the place altogether since the man could end up being a dangerous spirit. What do you also think? For anyone who's dealt with road rage, you know that moment when someone cuts you off and you really just want to let them know exactly how you feel. Well, China might have just found the quirkiest solution yet. The new Xpeng 2025 P7 sedan comes with a playful augmented reality AR feature that lets you throw emojis at other cars. Yeah, you heard that right. Instead of yelling or honking, you can send a giant virtual emoji flying toward the offending driver's vehicle, visible through your AR display. Want to send a sarcastic thumbs up, a furious red face, maybe a cheeky wink? It's all just a tap away. It's basically turning road rage into a video game where your weapons are harmless emojis instead of dangerous driving. It's a funny creative twist that whether it will actually calm tempers or just make people more competitive remains to be seen. What do you think of it?
能够发给大家，这样的话你会看到每天都在车上看坏。我们的研发正在努力，看能不能自动编辑成一个小视频，能够发给大家，这样的话你会看到每天都在车上看坏。
Are you wondering what you're looking at? Well, believe it or not, these faces were constructed from nothing more than random skeletons, some of them thousands of years old. Without today's technology, we'd never know what these ancient people actually looked like. But now, thanks to science, we can. How's that even possible? Well, the secret is in the bones. A skull carries hidden blueprints of a person's features, like the shape of their nose, jawline, and even how their eyes sat. In the past, experts used clay to slowly build up the muscles and skin, but today, 3D scanners, CT scans, and powerful AI can digitally recreate faces with striking detail. Of course, things like hair color, skin tone, and eye shade still need DNA or extra clues, so it's not always exact. Can we trust these generations then? Some believe we can, others not so much. The applications for these are endless, from helping conduct research about the past to making it possible to close cold cases where all we have are skeletal remains. Anyway, I've said enough. What do you think? Have you ever seen a rabbit that looked like this before? Its face is covered in huge horn-like growths sticking out in all directions, and no, this is not an alien and it's not edited footage. These are real rabbits, and what you're seeing is caused by a disease known as papillomavirus. This virus triggers abnormal skin growths, basically tumors often on the head and face. In severe cases, the growths can get so large that the rabbit struggles to see, eat, or even move normally. The condition is rare but dangerous. The virus spreads through biting insects like mosquitoes and fleas, so infected wild rabbits can pass it along to others in the area. And while it doesn't jump to humans, it's still something you don't want to have your pets around. If you ever spot a wild rabbit looking like this, keep your distance and make sure your pets stay far away from it too. What's a bit disturbing news without a conspiracy though, right? What do you think? Watched a movie and seen people using disguises to break into places. What happens when the disguise isn't human but canine? Confused? Allow me to explain. This footage looks like a cute dog trying to get into his home, right? Would you believe me if I told you that the owner who recorded the footage stated that the dog was already inside the house? So if the dog is already in the house, how could there be another that looks exactly like it trying to break into the house? That's a question we'll never truly know the answer to because the owner never opened the door. He went in and confirmed that his dog was truly indoors. Once the footage was uploaded online, all who saw it believed it was a skinwalker. Given the evidence we're presented with, I'm tempted to believe that hypothesis. A skinwalker could have been trying to lure the owner out using his dog and then unalive him, or worse. What do you think? Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. Next, we have footage from a man who believes that we are living in a simulation. After watching the footage, I can't blame him for thinking so. Take a look. You see it, don't you? How does a car this large get trapped that way between two buildings? It wouldn't have been an issue if it looked like a crash, but here we have a car facing upward between two buildings in a way that should not be possible if we're being logical. Most often, the glitch in the Matrix arguments seem far-fetched, but unless there's some avant-garde architectural design at play here, the whole scene seems like a glitch in the Matrix. I mean, cars are supposed to be on the road, not defying gravity between buildings, right? It leaves you wondering, is this an intentional installation, or did someone hit the wrong button in the reality control room? The concern about air pollution is reaching a critical point, and this footage is quite an eye-opener. They're labeling it a toxic cloud, and looking at it, you can't help but be alarmed. These brownish clouds hanging in the air are more than just thicker versions of your typical clouds. Now, the term toxic cloud usually rings an alarm bell for accidental releases of hazardous material, industrial mishaps, or full-on environmental disasters. It's not just a visual problem, but there are real health risks associated with breathing in this murky concoction. We're talking respiratory problems, irritated eyes and skin, a whole menu of health issues depending on what pollutants are in the mix. The fact that people are out there inadvertently inhaling this mess is definitely a cause for concern. It's not just wrong, it's a serious issue that needs attention. Let's delve into another mysterious incident. In a misty forest, someone captured a mysterious scene. While the creature is mostly hidden, we can still make out a silhouette. It appears to belong to a massive creature with wings surrounded by thick fog. What do you think this could be? I'm no avian expert, but I don't think there are many birds, or any birds for that matter, that look like this. Some who saw the footage, however, insist it's just a large bird. There is a small sect of individuals who believe we could be dealing with a dragon here. Dragons are mythical creatures, but if a cat can light a fire, then why can't we have a dragon out there? What do you guys also think this could be? Drop your suggestions in the comment section below. Enter the perplexing world of shattered glass mysteries. A girl, after retrieving a broken glass from the dishwasher, decides to play detective and reconstruct the puzzle of the glass shard. To her bewilderment, as she diligently tried to piece it back together, something wasn't quite adding up. Despite her efforts to align the shard, it stubbornly refused to fit back in its original place. Turning it around only added to the confusion, as the broken piece seemingly defied the laws of glass puzzle logic. Even when it almost fit, there was a strange twist. The shard had to be inverted, a move that seemed to defy the natural order of things. This mind-bending scenario leaves us with a glass puzzle that seems to have a secret language of its own. Next, check out this wild discovery in the woods. Here we have a creature that defies the norms of nature. At first glance, this looks like your everyday deer, but a closer look will reveal there's more to this critter than meets the eye. Noteworthy are the peculiar features adorning its face, curious holes that seem to come to life with each breath, casting an otherworldly aura upon the creature. Believe it or not, locals call it the muntjac deer. The muntjac deer, colloquially known as barking deer, a small-sized cervids primarily found in South and Southeast Asia. Distinguished by their modest antlers, these adaptable creatures inhabit a range of environments from tropical forests to human settlements. Their females give birth to 1 or 2 fawns multiple times a year. So that's just a little about these creatures. As incredible and distinguished as they might sound, you can't deny the fact that they're creepy looking if you aren't used to seeing them. Now, we all remember how the COVID-19 pandemic started a few years ago, leaving the entire world in a state of panic and uncertainty. Just when we thought we were moving past the worst of global health crisis, a new and terrifying threat emerged from Japan. Reports have surfaced of a flesh-eating disease that has already affected 977 individuals. The news has sent shockwaves through the medical community and beyond as people brace themselves for the potential spread of this horrifying ailment. Health officials in Japan are working around the clock to understand the disease, how it spreads, and most importantly, how to treat and contain it. The rest of the world watches with bated breath, hoping that this outbreak can be controlled before it becomes a global crisis. The memories of lockdowns, social distancing, and constant vigilance are still fresh in everyone's mind. The idea of facing another global health threat, especially one as gruesome as a flesh-eating disease, is almost too much to bear. Some have called the whole thing fake. Others think it was grown in the lab as a weapon, whereas others believe this is nothing but fear-mongering. Now, peer-reviewed journals are yet to be released on the case, but if it's true, let's pray they get everything under control. The last thing the world needs is COVID 2.0 that's capable of eating your flesh. Mystical creatures are mystical for a reason. There's no way they can be real until people start showing these types of footage, and then everyone becomes confused. Take a look at this footage of what looks like a centaur. A woman is lying on the ground with the lower part of a horse, and there are two people standing over her. For those unfamiliar with the term, a centaur, a mythical creature with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. They have been part of folklore and mythology for centuries. Seeing such a creature in what appears to be a modern real-world setting is mind-boggling. While I want to be excited and believe this is real, the most logical explanation is that this footage is a product of modern visual effects or elaborate costumes. What do you think? In our previous episode, we asked you what you would do if you walked in and saw a dog you didn't own. We thought that was a rare occurrence, but this next footage proves it's not. A man was sitting in his home, pressing his phone and watching YouTube videos and, TikToks and all that kind of stuff. After some minutes, he feels an eerie presence in the room, looks up and sees the dog you see on your screen. He tries to keep his composure and films to make sure he's not seeing things. Aside from the whole thing being spooky and surprising, the dog puts on some facial expression that sends chills down his spine. As if it was not strange enough seeing an unknown dog in your room, having it look at you like that will certainly not feel good. We're not exactly sure how he escaped the situation, but he believes he was visited by a skinwalker. What do you think? In the dead of night, a man found himself under the watchful gaze of two pairs of glowing eyes tracking his every move. The darkness obscured the identity of the mysterious observers, leaving him in a state of uncertainty. What he could discern hinted at something otherworldly, a faint outline of a pale creature low to the ground, moving stealthily. Questions lingered in the night air. Was it the infamous rake, a creature of urban legend known for lurking in the shadows? Or could it be a case of misidentification, a nocturnal being innocent in its nocturnal activities? This man's unique perspective is truly fascinating.
When you take all the temples that are around the pyramid and the other two pyramids that are next to it, and you look at it from the sky looking down, and you connect them, you get an inner planet system of our solar system.
When you take a bird's eye view of the Pyramid of Giza and the surrounding temples, you notice something remarkable. The arrangement mirrors the interplanetary solar system. When compared with a NASA map, the alignment fits incredibly well. But here's the intriguing question. NASA wasn't around in those ancient times, so how did they figure this out? Think about it. The precision and accuracy needed to map such a complex structure to the solar system are astounding. This suggests that the ancient builders must have had access to some advanced form of technology or knowledge that allowed them to achieve this. It's a mind-boggling thought. How did they gain such an understanding of astronomy? Did they possess sophisticated tools or methods lost to history? Or was there an exchange of knowledge from otherworldly sources? Share your thoughts and perspectives. Let's decode this together. One night in the Balkans, a resident was woken up by strange sounds in the middle of the night. Curious and a bit unsettled, he decided to investigate. He grabbed a flashlight and made his way toward the mountain. As he got closer, An eerie feeling of immense fear began to wash over him. That's when he saw them. 2 figures, each about 12 feet tall, stood on either side of a stone pillar. The figures were dark, with the shapes of humans draped in robes and wings spread behind them. They looked like angels, but their presence was haunting and otherworldly. The man managed to capture some footage, and when he shared it online, the internet went wild. Many believed these figures were angels, their towering forms and wings fitted the description perfectly. However, others had a more sinister interpretation, suggesting they might be fallen angels or some other dark entities. A man was at a dam when he noticed something unusual, a set of 3 fins cutting through the surface of the water. At first glance, they looked like the fins of a fish, but their sheer size and location raised some serious questions. How could fish that large have ended up in a dam like this? Some people argue that these fins belong to a group of large fish, somehow finding their way into the dam. Others, however, believe that there's something far more intriguing and possibly more dangerous beneath the water. Could it be an undiscovered aquatic creature, or maybe even something from the deep that has ventured into unknown territory? Hard to say, but what do you think? Next, we've got footage that was taken by a tourist who had visited Thailand back in 2022.
That? What is that? Yeah, what's that? What is that?
They went biking through the woody mountains and had to walk part of the way to reach one of their destinations. In the video, you can see one person walking ahead of the person filming. When they got to the top, they set the camera down, and that's when the camera guy noticed something among the trees. They went to investigate but didn't see anything. However, the camera captured a creature. It was a reptilian-like entity that crept out from the bushes and quickly went back into hiding when the men moved closer. You can see its shoulders, head, and one arm it used to climb out. The hands, shoulders, and head looked humanoid except that the body was reptilian and the palm appeared webbed. What could this mysterious creature be? Is it a cryptid, some unknown species, or perhaps something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.
What the f is that? What is that? Yeah, what's that? What is that?
Speaking of unfinished business, this footage was taken in the ER. In the clip, a worker at the hospital hears some unusual sounds coming from an empty room in the ER. As they investigate, they stumble upon something quite baffling. The ceiling above one of the beds in the room had unexpectedly opened, and what's more, there was no wind in the room, yet the open ceiling was moving and producing eerie noises. Is it possible that what's happening is the ghostly appearance of a patient who, for reasons we don't understand, is seeking recognition or resolution beyond the boundaries of the living world? It's a well-known fact that a hospital is a place where lots of deaths have happened, so it's not a surprise that strange situations happen there. Night shifts, in particular, have become the backdrop for many stories involving strange events narrated by nurses who have witnessed the unexplained. While strange, this is just one of the many strange occurrences that happen in hospitals around the world. Any health worker here to share an experience? This next clip comes from Argentina, where the clouds had turned pink. Yeah, you heard that right. Pink. Just take a look at this. It's almost like some sort of Disney movie. However, amidst the enchantment, a question arises. What mysterious forces could be at play? Are these really clouds, or could there be something more ominous, like unhealthy fumes lingering in the air? One possibility is pollution. Yeah, the not-so-charming sight of human activities. Pollutants in the air can interact with sunlight in strange and beautiful ways, creating vibrant hues. On the flip side, nature has a few tricks too. Wildfires, volcanic activity, or even dust storms can spice things up in the atmosphere, turning a regular sky day into a breathtaking spectacle. So what do you think this could be? Pollution or something else entirely?
Get closer to it.
A man was driving out of a parking lot when he noticed something unusual in the sky. Intrigued, he parked his car and zoomed in with his camera. There it was, a UFO hovering in the sky. Unlike the animated footage we're used to seeing, this one looked like the real deal. The object wasn't moving very fast and it was drifting slowly across the sky. The slow and steady movement of the UFO made the sighting even more compelling. This isn't a quick flash or a blurry speck, it's clear and deliberate. Could this be genuine evidence of extraterrestrial activity?
Allá anda atrás del árbol un ovni. Lo miramos y se anda escondiendo y ahí anda jugando atrás del árbol. Mira. Oye, va para arriba. Ay, papá. Ya subimos de la lámpara, ya subimos de la lámpara.
This footage, taken in Mexico back in 2015, captures a curious and unexplained sighting. A group of men were hanging out at night when they noticed something unusual in the sky. Intrigued, they zoomed in on the glowing object, and what they found left them puzzled. The object was unlike any regular UFO or drone they had ever seen. It appeared to be a rock-like structure, but it didn't have a defined shape. Instead, it was irregular and oddly shiny, casting an eerie glow as it hovered in the night sky. The object's appearance was far from what one might expect from a typical aircraft or drone, adding to the mystery. What are we really looking at here? Could it be some unknown technology, or perhaps a natural phenomena that's yet to be explained? Share your thoughts. Alright, hold the phone. So there's this beach footage that's causing a bit of a stir. People are hanging out, enjoying the sand and surf, when suddenly these small mysterious white things start popping out of the beach sand. And here's the kicker. Within seconds, it looks like they've multiplied into hundreds, carpeting the beach floor. Now, the big question is, what on earth could these little things be? It's like a tiny invasion of the sand kind. Are there some undiscovered marine life making a surprise appearance, or could we be dealing with some alien beach creatures? Now, in this next footage, a security camera captures a ghostly apparition roaming in the dead of night. The entity had a human form, a head, arms, legs, everything. However, it wasn't tangible like a human. It looked like white smoke taking the form of a human. I know, the whole thing is quite strange. It has a posture like that of an elderly person. It moves with slow, haunting steps bent at the waist. Despite its appearance, we have to wonder, is this spectral figure on a haunting mission, or does it harbor unfinished business that ties it to the realms of the living? There's a reason demolitions are done by trained professionals, and our next clip demonstrates that fact exceptionally. Did you see that? First of all, being that close to the structure in this state was risky. Secondly, to bring it down while standing so close to it was also risky. He's very, very lucky to have escaped with no scratch. Whatever you do, never do what this guy did in the clip. You have friends and family that care about you too much for your life to be snuffed out by something like this. Next, we got a homeowner who, after purchasing a house, was doing a second thorough check and came across something disturbing. There was a dent in the roof, and as she looked through, she saw this. Between the cracks, there was a grotesque face staring back at her. It didn't look human at all, and it left her unsettled and quite frankly disturbed. What is this thing living there? Also, she had already bought the house at this point, leaving her with no option but to deal with the unsettling discovery. Imagine the shock of finding such a creature hidden in your home. What could it be? A wild animal? A strange entity? Or something else entirely? What would you do if you found something like this in your home? Heading to Medellin, Colombia, our attention is drawn to an unusual sighting in the sky that has left a family perplexed.
Be quiet, Brendan. Don't be annoying. I swear you have to always be annoying.
I hope it's a drone, bro.
A peculiar craft resembling a saucer captured their gaze. What makes this sighting even more intriguing is the presence of a red glowing orb situated beneath the craft. As the video spreads, discussions about the source of this celestial visitor heat up. Some dive into intergalactic mysteries, entertaining the idea that we might not be alone. Others consider the possibility of advanced technologies not yet revealed to the public, gliding through the skies over Medellin. Both of these sound absurd. Given the nature of our world today, I wouldn't rule anything out. What do you think? In China, there's this footage capturing a rather unusual sight. The night sky painted in a deep shade of blood red. I know there are a lot of bizarre ideas and theories running through your mind just from seeing this, but relax. Julius thinks that instead of looking at the paranormal, there could be a more logical reason for what we're seeing. He argues that what we are seeing could be nothing more than the result of the air pollution that China is known for, thanks to it becoming the manufacturing hub of the world's largest corporation. Elevated levels of particulate matter in the air tend to disperse light, particularly during sunrise or sunset, creating an unusual red tint. Yet as we delve into this crimson mystery, the question lingers. Is there more to it than just pollution affecting the light? Is this spectral show solely a result of Earth pollutants, or does it suggest something beyond our current comprehension? What do you think is happening here? When I first saw this, I shouted demon possession. But I decided to calmly watch the clip and I don't know. But I felt this overwhelming feeling of sadness. I had to change my script a couple of times for this one. I took a break and decided to do some research and found out why. This could actually be an individual experiencing Tourette syndrome. For those unfamiliar, Tourette syndrome is a neurological disorder characterized by the presence of repetitive, involuntary movements and vocalizations known as tics. These tics can be motor, such as blinking or head jerking, or vocal, such as grunting or throat clearing. The onset of Tourette's typically occurs in childhood, with symptoms often appearing between the ages of 5 and 10. While the exact cause is not fully understood, it's believed to involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors. The severity and type of tics can vary greatly among individuals, but while there is no cure, treatments including behavioral therapy, medication, and supportive therapies can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. If that's what the person in the clip is experiencing, it's sad. Perhaps that's why I felt sad watching it. What do you guys think? This image was taken by Miria Maya, an American anthropologist and primatologist. Because of her job, she was out in the woods, and the image is actually a screenshot from a video she recorded. According to her, while she was out in the woods, she felt eyes on her, but couldn't make out what it was. Later, while going through the clips she had recorded, she discovered that there was actually a creature hidden among a pile of dried leaves. It appeared to be an ape-like being, just staring straight at her. Cryptid enthusiasts believe this could be evidence of a Sasquatch lurking in the area. The creature's dark, shadowy figure blends almost seamlessly with the forest floor, making it hard to spot unless you know where to look. Maria's expertise and the detailed context of the situation lend credibility to this sighting. Could it be that she stumbled upon one of the most elusive cryptids in existence, or is she just seeing things? So there's this photo, right? A bluish glowing orb, and the story goes that someone's dad snapped the picture. Now, it's not your typical lens glare scenario because it's chilling behind a tree, and beyond that tree, a good old cornfield. Looking at the close-up, it's got you scratching your head. Not your usual camera mishap or a reflection gone wild. This orb seems to have a mind of its own, playing hide-and-seek behind nature's greenery. Any thoughts on what this mysterious glowing sphere could be? It's got the intrigue of a sci-fi plot, but maybe there's a rational explanation waiting to be unveiled. What's your take on this luminous enigma behind the cornfield curtain?
No tanto. Ahí va. Vamos a ver. Viene arriba de nosotros.
In the tranquil setting of a Mexican evening, an extraordinary event unfolded, captivating the attention of curious bystanders. A glowing orb was seen ascending into the sky. What made this event interesting was how the object acted as it ascended. At first, when the orb moved away from the earth, it looked bigger and brighter, almost as though the distance made it shine more. As it got closer to the sky, it started getting smaller and its brightness faded into a soft glow, which was expected, but then the unexpected happened. Instead of eventually fading away and disappearing, the orb rather grew bigger. It's strange enough that no one knows what it is or how it came to be. Seeing it behave this way just adds to the mystery surrounding it. What do you think? Could it be an alien, or do you have a more logical explanation?
Otra vez vuelve a brillar.
Our next clip is one of many videos about people discovering fake plastic food items. This woman's example involves chicken. Take a look.
Does something look wrong here? Like, why is it like that? Look at it. And it's like, it feels like there's skin on it, but it's boneless and skinless. Like,
just look at the texture. It appears to have a plastic covering, and as she pokes it, it feels mushy inside. What is going on out there? What is happening to our food? Seeing something as fundamental as a chicken looking and feeling fake is unsettling. How can consumers ensure the food they're buying is real and safe to eat? The idea of fake food infiltrating our market is both alarming and infuriating. So far, however, we've had accounts of people online. Can any of you confirm if you have ever come across something like this, or at least personally know someone who has? We want to make sure this isn't propaganda, and quite frankly, we don't think it is. But we want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
does something look wrong here? Like, why is it like that? Look at it.
This footage was taken in Mexico. Two men were outside when they noticed an odd-looking star. Out of nowhere, the star emitted a green laser beam that moved around and then vanished. Paranormal enthusiasts believe this could be evidence of alien activity. However, one commenter offered a different perspective that got me thinking. Fake. It's a hill where the green laser is being pointed by someone on the hill. Those laser pointers are sold at fairs. You've seen the clip as well. Do you think this could be the case here? Let us know in the comments section if you think this explanation makes sense or if you have another theory. We'll be reading. These bleeding tree clips never get old. Just look at that. A man is cutting through a tree and gushing out his crimson red liquid. It's an astonishing sight, almost as if the tree is alive in a way we don't usually think about. This phenomenon is typically seen in a specific type of tree known as the bloodwood tree, found in places like South Africa. When cut, it releases a sap that resembles blood, adding to its mystique and intrigue. The crimson sap isn't actually blood, of course, but it does serve a purpose. It can act as a deterrent to pests and help seal wounds to protect the tree from infections. The sight of the red sap flowing from the tree can be both mesmerizing and unsettling, making you question the wonders of nature. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Someone came across this unusual creature on the ground in the park. It looked like a bat, but it was out during the day and seemed quite aggressive. It let out a strange growl, like squeak, as it tried to attack the man behind the camera. Finding such a creature during the day is unusual for a bat, as they are typically nocturnal. The aggressive behavior and the strange vocalizations add to the mystery. While bats can sometimes be active during the day due to illness or disturbance, it's rare to encounter one acting so aggressively. What do you think this creature could be? We all know that the king of pop, Michael Jackson, passed away in 2009. However, there have been rumors that he might not actually be dead and that his death was a lie. Take a look at this footage. The ambulance that was supposed to have taken his body wrapped in a white sheet on a stretcher was secretly filmed by a fan at another building. Instead of wheeling out a body, the man is seen guiding a smaller person out of the van and in the building. And that's not all. After his death, a man named Dave appeared on TV, and his voice sounded eerily similar to Michael Jackson's. Take a listen.
And there were all these Paul McCartney records all over this, The Girl Is Mine, and, this and that. 13 solo albums, solo appearances on TV shows. And there were all these Paul McCartney records. But of course you always feel things. I don't
hear that? Yeah, very similar. Michael Jackson was known for his exceptional skill in disguises because of how people would swarm him whenever he went out. He often wore elaborate disguises that were incredibly convincing. He was a master of disguise. So what do you think? Did Michael Jackson fake his own death to gain freedom, or is this theory too extreme to believe?
Begin 2 minutes.
A man was driving at night when he noticed something alarming. Ahead of him, a small four-wheeled cycle was moving along the road. But it wasn't just cruising, it had something attached to the back that was spewing fire onto the side of the road, which bordered a forest. As the man continued to drive, you could clearly see a line of fire trailing behind the cycle, setting the base of the woods ablaze. The person on the cycle kept going, leaving a long, burning path in their wake. The sight was shocking, and the first thought that came to mind was arson. With so many forest fires occurring without any clear cause, this scene looked incredibly suspicious. One commenter, however, suggested a different explanation: ditch burning. For those unfamiliar with it, ditch burning is a controlled method used to clear vegetation or debris, often on the sides of the road or fields. It's typically done to prevent larger, uncontrolled fires by eliminating potential fuel for wildfires. But even if that's the case, the way it was being done here at night, with fire spreading into the forest, seems reckless and dangerous. But what do you guys think? Is this a case of controlled ditch burning gone wrong, or is there something more sinister at play? I will be reading your comments. Next, we got a group of friends out in Auburn who went fishing one day, hoping for a relaxing day by the water. But their peaceful outing took a wild turn when an unexpected creature appeared not too far from them.
Look at that. What the? Oh my God. Go! Run!
It was an 8-foot-tall being covered in brown fur, striding purposefully towards some nearby bushes. The sheer size and presence of the creature left them in stunned silence for a moment. Then, instincts kicked in, and they bolted straight toward their car, hearts pounding with fear and adrenaline. Luckily, one of them had been filming their fishing adventure, capturing the mysterious figure on camera. The footage is shaky, understandably so given the circumstances, but you could make out the tall, fur-covered creature moving. Now, this clip has the paranormal community excited. Some who live in the area want to go check it out, hoping they can find the big guy. Despite their excitement, however, there are those who believe the whole thing was staged by the friends. What do you think?
That. What the? Oh my God. Go! Run!
Would you believe me if I told you we're at the point of growing aircraft skins and building planes that can change their shapes mid-flight? Sounds futuristic, I know, but listen.
New materials that are on the lab bench right now, they can literally change shape on command. They can become almost a muscular material.
We could have an airplane that optimizes its shape for the different flight conditions it's in.
Lockheed Martin has always been at the forefront of groundbreaking technology, with their latest innovations truly mind-blowing. They recently announced the development of an aircraft skin that could optimize its shape based on the type of flight. Sounds eerily similar to the descriptions of UFOs we've heard over the years, right? One of the men mentions OS, an aircraft that can change its shape mid-flight to become more aerodynamic, efficient, or stealthy, depending on the situation. This kind of adaptive technology could revolutionize aviation as we know it. No longer would aircraft be limited by a fixed design. They could morph and adapt, much like how nature's most efficient flyers, like birds, adjust their wing shapes. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The concept of shape-shifting aircraft brings to mind the countless UFO sightings reported worldwide. Many of these unidentified flying objects are described as having the ability to change shape or perform maneuvers that defy conventional aerodynamics. Could Lockheed Martin be inching us closer to technologies that once seemed purely science fiction? While I would love to think so, some individuals in the paranormal community believe they already have the technology and are only sensitizing us to it before they launch it. There are some who also believe that the aliens we see are no aliens at all. They believe it's Lockheed and his team testing their technology, or even running it. What do you think?
New materials that are on the lab bench right now, they can literally change shape on command. They can become almost a muscular material.
We could have an airplane that optimizes its shape for the different flight conditions it's in.
Picture. I like how the Earth is meeting the glacier. See that interesting shape?
Oh wow, yeah. Just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this.
It's so insane, isn't it? Because this is right at the edge of it.
These two guys shared a video of themselves allegedly flying over the forbidden icy walls of Antarctica. Take a look. It's just ice as far as the eye can see, stretching out endlessly beneath them. But as captivating as it seems, most viewers aren't buying it. The skeptics were quick to weigh in. One commenter said, "Although I'd like to see Antarctica from this view, I'm pretty sure these guys are in Alaska." Another added, "This is not behind the ice wall, lol. This looks very much like the Alletschlechte in Switzerland." But here's the twist. Some believers argue that this skepticism is exactly what they want. By discrediting videos like this, they say the truth stays hidden in plain sight. Could it be that these guys are onto something, or is it just another case of mistaken geography? So what do you think? Also, did I say the name of the place in Switzerland right? Because to me it sounded like complete gobbledygook. Maybe someone can give me a pronunciation in the comments section.
Then the ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a folk picture.
Dolls can be pretty scary when they pull a Chucky on you, but this footage right here is a whole new level. In the footage, there is a pale-headed doll with messy hair. This doll already looks scary, but the rest of its body makes the whole scene very haunting. Its body is made of wood, like the recliner of a wooden chair, and it moves. There is a man even holding the wooden hand as the doll walks. I don't know about you, but everyone I've shown this to has found it very scary. After a lot of digging around, we found out that this was actually made by someone. We can't say who, but I don't think this is the type of doll I would buy and take home with me. What about you? Now, what do we have here? Is it a tree shaped like a person lying face upwards on the ground? I don't know about you, but this looks very disturbing to me. Now, trees are known for their adaptability, but this one takes the cake. In certain cultures, you'd find beliefs that tie into the idea of people turning into trees. It's almost like a punishment for their wrongdoings. Looking at this, I'm tempted to believe that those beliefs are not merely myths after all. Imagine a person was transformed into this tree as a form of cosmic justice. You know what? Don't. I can't imagine someone going through that. What's more, it might just be an odd tree formation. Perhaps I'm reading more meaning into it than I ought to. This next image was taken from a monitor. A woman had her sick mother staying with her, needing constant attention and care. Since she was busy most of the time, she set up a camera in the room to keep an eye on her mother. One evening, while glancing at the monitor, she noticed something strange. There was this glowing arm, seemingly ethereal, gently resting on her mother's arm as she slept. The arm appeared almost translucent, with a soft, otherworldly glow surrounding it. It wasn't a part of her mother's body, nor did it belong to anyone else in the room. The woman was understandably shocked and concerned. The glowing arm seemed to be touching her mother with a delicate, almost comforting gesture. Some might say it looked like a guardian spirit, offering a calming presence in a time of need. Others could argue it was a trick of the light, perhaps a reflection or glamour glitch. But what do you think? This video is said to be leaked footage from one of the secret bases hidden around the world. The story goes that someone managed to sneak inside, and what they found is downright eerie. The footage shows rows upon rows of hyper-realistic human face masks. These masks are unlike anything you've ever seen before. Made of silicone, they look incredibly lifelike, almost indistinguishable from real human faces. Every wrinkle, every pore, and even the slight imperfections you'd expect on a real face are there, making these masks appear disturbingly realistic. The camera pans across the room, revealing racks filled with these faces, hanging like some sort of macabre gallery. The sight is unsettling, faces without bodies, just waiting to be worn. What makes this even more bizarre is how advanced these masks seem to be. They go far beyond the silicone masks you might find in a costume shop. These look like they could fool anyone into thinking they were real. It begs the question, what could these masks be used for? Is there a darker purpose behind their creation? The idea that these faces could be worn by someone to impersonate another person sends chills down my spine. If this footage is real, it opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities, from secret agents using them for covert missions to something more sinister like identity theft on a level we've never imagined. What do you think is really going on here? High above the vast Polish skies, an enigma unfolded as keen eyes aboard a flight beheld a peculiar sight. You see it, don't you? A mysterious vertical object defying earthly norms. The upper section loomed larger while its lower counterpart held an intriguing diminutiveness. Now, we're no experts, but conventional human craft rarely boasts such perplexing features. Could it be a lost satellite, a secretive government drone, or perhaps the intergalactic equivalent of a cosmic tourist? While on a boat ride, a shark came sniffing around the boat. Now, I'm no marine biologist, but this shark seemed more like your nosy neighbor than a hungry predator. The person on the boat stays still while filming the dangerous creature. It swarmed around the boat, and at a point it attempted to bite at it, but thankfully gave up. Watching this, I couldn't help but wonder if the shark was either in need of a snack or perhaps had mistaken the boat for something else entirely. The shark eventually moved on, leaving the observer to ponder the unpredictability of these creatures. Maybe it was just an off day for the shark, or perhaps it had different plans than being a fearsome predator. Nature's surprising, isn't she? Thankfully, this surprise was the pleasant kind. What's going on with these cars? The front hoods are inflated like balloons. I was very confused myself, especially since in one of the clips the person was still driving the car. I thought it would explode, but one commenter said that this was just the car wrapped inflating due to heat. It turns out that the car wrap, a protective or decorative covering applied to the vehicle, can sometimes expand or bubble up when exposed to high temperatures. This creates an alarming appearance of an inflated hood, but it's generally not a sign of an imminent explosion. While it looks dramatic, it's a reminder of how heat can affect different materials on our cars. It's always best to keep an eye on such occurrences and consult a professional if you notice any unusual change in your vehicle. Have you ever seen something like this happen? What was your initial reaction? You all know the story of the crow that wanted to drink from a jar of water, so it puts rocks into the jar to make the water rise. Watch this. Someone captured that same scene, but in real life. Would you look at that? This crow does the same thing. It tries to drink from a glass bottle, but the water is too low, so it picks up pebbles and drops them into the bottle until the water is high enough for it to have a drink. This remarkable footage shows the intelligence and problem-solving abilities of crows. They've often been observed using tools and displaying behaviors that demonstrate advanced cognitive skills. Watching this crow replicate the ancient fable is both fascinating and awe-inspiring. It makes you wonder about the intelligence of animals and how much they understand about their environment. What other surprising behaviors might animals exhibit that we haven't noticed yet? Yeah, that's a road flooded with water and ice. Just look at that. I hope the person who took the footage is fine because the water is at the same level as the front mirror, and the car is submerged in it. Nature is scary. The sheer power and unpredictability of natural forces can be overwhelming. Floods like this remind us of how vulnerable we are to the elements. One moment everything is calm, and the next you're facing a torrent of icy water that could sweep away cars and pose serious dangers to anyone caught in its path. It's astonishing how quickly conditions can change, transforming a familiar road into a hazardous river. The combination of water and ice makes it even more treacherous, with the risk of hypothermia and the challenge of navigating through ice chunks. On second thought, is that even ice at all? And how hasn't the engine given up already? Share your thoughts. If you have got trypophobia, skip this one. You have been warned. What we have here is the fascinating and somewhat eerie sight of a mother Suriname toad. These creatures are truly unique in the animal kingdom, and what you're seeing is a remarkable example of their distinctive reproductive process. The holes on her back from which the baby toads are emerging are part of an extraordinary adaptation. Instead of laying eggs in water like most amphibians, the Suriname toad has developed a method that keeps her offspring safe and close. Here's how it works. The female Suriname toad lays her eggs, and then the male fertilizes them. But instead of leaving the eggs in the water, the male pushes them into the skin on her back, where they become embedded in individual pockets. Over time, the skin grows over these pockets, creating a honeycomb-like structure. Inside these pockets, the eggs hatch and the tadpoles develop, staying safe and nourished by their mother's body until they're ready to emerge as fully formed little toads. This process is not only unique, but also a bit unsettling to watch. Seeing tiny toads pop out from the holes in her back can be surprising and might make your skin crawl a little. Yet it's a brilliant evolutionary strategy, ensuring that the young have a higher chance of survival by keeping them protected during their most vulnerable stages. Creepy, but fascinating. The nighttime is when a lot of sinister and unexplainable things happen. Take a look at this surveillance footage. The camera was set outside a house, looking out at the woods nearby in the dead of night. Then, out of nowhere, this happened. A strange entity just dropped out of the sky and jumped off. It looks like it's humanoid, but because of how fast it moved, there isn't much we can say about it. It also has this white glow to it, but since this footage is in black and white, we can't tell if it's wearing a white dress or if the creature itself is glowing. Adding to the mystery was the fact that there were no reports of any disturbances or noises in the area that night. The homeowners checked the footage the next morning after noticing some strange marks on the ground where the entity landed. Could this be an extraterrestrial visitor, or perhaps a spectral entity? Let us know what you think in the comment section. This was sent in by a subscriber who had just set up his trail camera deep in the woods. He was hoping to spot some prey as he prepared for hunting season. But when he came back the next day to check the images, what he found was beyond anything he could have expected. The camera captured something truly unsettling, a creature that looked almost human, but with features that were anything but. It was completely bald, with hollow, empty eyes that seemed to stare right into your soul. Its mouth was wide open, revealing no teeth, just darkness, and where its nose should have been, there was only a gaping hole, giving it an even more skeletal appearance. The creature was crouched down, so the lower part of its body was hidden in the shadows, but what you could have seen was extremely emaciated, as if it had been starving for ages. What could this be? Next, we've got a man who was exploring a cave mine thinking he was alone, but then he noticed something unusual from one of the mine portals. There, emerging from the shadows, was a humanoid dark figure with a glowing head. Naturally, the internet had a field day with this one. Some commenters quickly dismissed it, saying it was just a person with a headlamp. That's the rational explanation, and it makes sense. I mean, it does look like an explorer with a high-powered headlamp that may just be giving off an otherworldly glow in the darkness. But others were not so sure. They felt there was more at play. What if it's not just a headlamp? What if it's something supernatural? Mines and caves have long been the settings for ghost stories and legends. The combination of isolation and the unknown depths make them perfect breeding grounds for tales of the unexplained, and this could be one of them. This bizarre-looking set of remains was found deep in the forest. The carcass is massive and you can clearly see the ribs. However, when you get to the head, there's something truly alarming. The head looks strikingly similar to one of the raptors from Jurassic World. This doesn't even look like it was made. It's covered in dust and embedded in the forest's floor, indicating that this thing has been here for quite a while. Could these be the remains of a dinosaur? Perhaps one that somehow survived until more recent times, long after dinosaurs were believed to have gone extinct. Just imagine a dinosaur or something very much like it existing in our time. How did it survive? What did it eat? Where did it live? These are questions that scientists would be eager to explore. Experts in paleontology and zoology would need to examine the remains closely, analyzing the bone structure and possibly extracting DNA to determine what kind of creature this was. For now, we can only speculate. But one thing is certain: this discovery is extraordinary and needs a thorough investigation. If the sight of blood scares or disturbs you, you might want to skip ahead a few seconds. If you're still listening, then I guess you're fine. Let's take a look. Now, what we are watching here, men sitting down with blood spurting out of their foreheads. Are they okay? Looks bizarre and weird, doesn't it? Well, this is allegedly a type of treatment done for the elderly. An expert medical practitioner is actually responsible for pricking the hole in the older person's forehead. They say that as people age, they accumulate a lot of impure blood in their system. So by doing this, they're getting rid of some of it. This practice, known as bloodletting, has historical roots and is still practiced in some cultures for various health reasons. The belief is that releasing bad blood can help alleviate certain ailments and improve overall health. However, this method is controversial and not widely accepted in modern medicine due to the risks involved and the lack of scientific evidence supporting its efficiency. What do you think about this? The video shows a jellyfish-like creature floating in the air. Its movement is fluid, as if it's drifting through the water, but it's clearly up in the sky. According to witnesses, this bizarre entity appeared for about 25 seconds before vanishing into the clouds, almost as if it entered a portal. These jellyfish-like creatures in the sky have been a phenomenon often attributed to extraterrestrial activity. The way it moved and disappeared has led many to speculate that it might be some form of alien life or a spacecraft cloaked in a way that mimics natural organisms. Julius, on the other hand, thinks it's doctored footage of a sea hare. For those unfamiliar, the sea hare is a fascinating marine mollusk belonging to the order Anaspidea, known for its distinctive soft and wrinkled body that resembles a hare's ears. They're gentle creatures often found in shallow coastal waters. So yeah, it really does look like a marine creature, but what do you think? Is this a glimpse of something not from our world, or is there a more terrestrial explanation for this strange sighting? A driver on the highway got the shock of a lifetime when this came driving by. It was a truck with a giant, mysterious object strapped to its trailer. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe this thing. It's enormous, and it's hard to tell if it's metallic or something else entirely. The shape is bizarre, almost otherworldly. Naturally, the internet has been buzzing with speculation. One commenter suggested it might be a sculpture being transported to an art exhibit or a museum. But with all the weirdness out there these days, it's hard not to be skeptical. Could it be some kind of top-secret government equipment, a prototype for a new type of vehicle or machinery? Maybe it's part of a movie set or something. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes it so intriguing. There are some, however, who believe the whole thing is a hoax and a fake. What say you? Would you look at that? A table of pandas having a party. Very hilarious. Look at what the zookeepers have prepared for these fuzzy guys. 4 large pandas are sitting on wooden chairs around a table of food, munching away. Such an adorable sight to see. These pandas, with their big round faces and playful behavior, always manage to bring a smile to our faces. The zookeepers have set up a delightful spread of bamboo and other treats, making it look like a proper panda feast. It's heartwarming to see the pandas enjoying their meal, almost like a group of friends.
Hi.
Yeah, Shane's gotta go.
How are you? Do you have your ID with you?
I don't.
What's your name?
Irene.
Irene. What's your last name, Irene?
Bejard Wilson.
This footage is from a police body cam. It was taken by an officer who was called in by hotel management after a woman started acting rather violently. This was the woman, Irene Bedard. She was the voice actress for the Disney princess Pocahontas. In the first clip, the police had gone to her room to talk to her, and she was acting very strange. In another clip, she was seen running through the hallway, and that's when the camera captured this. On the ground, a dark entity appeared, crawling on the floor, and then it emerged and tried running. They had no idea what was wrong with her. 1 minute she was calm, and the next she was acting out. Some believe that the dark thing was some type of entity and that it possessed her. So, is this evidence of possession, or is there another explanation for her behavior?
I don't know what that is. Stop. I don't know what that is.
There are a lot of things on the internet these days. Some seem absurd and might not be for everyone. I came across this woman who was sharing her experience about something she tried.
Dim the lights in your room, or whatever room you're in, and find a mirror. Sit in front of that mirror and look into your eyes. And just, look into your own eyes in the mirror.
It's called mirror gazing. Here's how it works. You sit in front of a mirror and look into your reflection. Then you stare straight into your eyes and let them glaze over. In her experience, after about 15 seconds, she started to dissociate and her reflection began to shapeshift from her current self to a cat, to her older self, and even to some scary versions of herself. In the paranormal community, mirrors are believed to be portals. Most people who saw her footage weren't happy about her recommending this to others. It's said to be a very bad idea because mirrors can open a portal to anything that might possess you, and the same goes for hypnosis. I don't know much about this, but if that's what it is, then let's be careful out there, especially when it comes to unsolicited advice.
After about 15 seconds, that is all it took, I started to dissociate from myself almost. My face started to shapeshift. And I'm not crazy, I'm telling you, try this yourself.
Ya, teman-teman. Tuh. Oke, saya dapat. Harumnya.
This man came across a strange-looking creature in a cave. It's said that the creature is a cave gremlin. It was a miniature being with dark, beady eyes and a mouth with teeth sticking out. Many would have run at the sight of this creature, but the man took the creature home, cooked it, and ate it. Yes, this man ate a gremlin. That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever come across on the internet. Gremlins are often considered mythical creatures with various stories and legends attributing them with magical or mischievous qualities. Eating a potential mystical or unknown creature not only disregards cultural and mythical significances, but also poses serious health risks. Who knows what kind of diseases or toxins an unknown creature might carry? If this is indeed real, do you think people should show more respect for unknown and mythical creatures, or should turning them into delicacies be the acceptable norm? Share your thoughts.
Harumnya.
While out in the woods with a friend who was attending to some dried plants, a man started filming and panning his camera around. While we can't tell why he was doing it, we do see something unusual coming into view. Running pretty fast behind a tree was this strange miniature creature. The creature wasn't very far from them and seemed to be running away from the worksite. This creature was clearly bipedal and had largely oddly shaped ears. You can't make out the rest of its features. Some suggest it's an animal known for its ability to stand on two legs, with a small primate or even a kangaroo rat. Others lean toward a more fantastical explanation, a fairy tale creature like a goblin or a forest sprite. Given the short clip, it's hard to tell, but what do you think this mysterious miniature bipedal creature with large ears could be? Let us know in the comments.
Oh my god!
Speaking of strange phenomena, take a look at this. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see it? Personally, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, but many in the paranormal community thought this was either the Star of Jacob or the Sirius Star. But not knowing what both of these were, I was gonna sit it out, but some felt it looked and felt alien. But then again, when you're not familiar with something, it's easy to attribute it to anything, even alien stuff. That's when one of the individuals in the paranormal community came and dispelled all thoughts and opinions. After taking a critical look at it, he believed it was a SpaceX launch. After cross-checking with information on the internet, it looks like he may be right. But then again, what do you guys think?
Oh my god!
Now on to something not so exciting. In 2025, there are predictions of a significant solar storm. This event is linked to the solar maximum, a phase the sun experiences approximately every 11 years. During this time, the sun emits massive amounts of solar flares and radiation. The last major event of this kind occurred in 1859 and is famously known as the Carrington Event. The Carrington Event caused widespread disruptions, including damage to telegraph systems and auroras visible far from the poles. If such an event would occur today, it could have far-reaching consequences given our reliance on technology. Power grids might fail, the internet could be disrupted, and satellites, which are essential for communication and navigation, could be affected. However, there's no need to panic. Experts emphasize that such an event does not pose a direct threat to human life. The effects would primarily be technological, and with proper preparation, the impact can be mitigated. I just don't get why people put themselves through the torture of going into abandoned houses. They are likely hotspots for paranormal activities. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A woman goes into an abandoned building. She moves from room to room until she gets to one of the toilets, and this happens. In the toilet is black hair that looks like there's a head under the seat. The toilet lid suddenly slams open and closes as soon as the woman gets closer. It's as if the entity is warning her from getting any nearer. This makes her slowly back away from the place. Who knows what entities or spirits linger in these forgotten structures? Would you dare to explore an abandoned house, knowing what might be waiting for you inside? Ever heard of the Wise Man's Woods in England? No? Legend has it that in the past, druids used to perform rituals and sacrifices there, and because of this, the woods are known to harbor a lot of spirits. Recently, a young man shared this chilling video on his social media that has everyone talking.
Walking for like an hour now. It is pissing it down. These two are doing my head in. It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is. What?
He had taken his little siblings out for a walk in these very woods. They had been out for so long that it was starting to get dark, and he was getting increasingly frustrated trying to wrangle his siblings back toward home. In a moment of exasperation, he decided to record a video of himself and his siblings to capture their antics. As he was filming, his camera inadvertently caught something terrifying. Behind him, among the trees, there was a dark figure. It moved very quickly and seemed to vanish almost instantly. What makes this even more unsettling is that they were in the infamous Wise Man's Woods. Given the history of this place, it's not surprising that many in the paranormal community believe the figure in the video could be one of the many entities rumored to haunt the woods. Is that the case, though? It's hard to confirm it, but let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is.
If you are as confused by what you're seeing as we are, this is an alleged clip of a grounded UFO moving an unsuspected man to it. I know the clip is confusing to see, but it wasn't captured by a phone's camera or DLSR. Instead, it was captured by CCTV at night. The man appears to be walking toward an area of bright light with no control of himself. People believe that's because he's in a trance. Many individuals, especially pilots who have experienced UFOs or UAPs, state that they typically find themselves confused or in a trance-like state. While many are riding on with the UAP-UFO idea, there are some who think it was nothing more than a balloon. They don't think the UFO or UAP will be that small when it's grounded, especially given the fact that we can see them in the sky from here. It's controversial, I know, but what do you guys think? Julius, for one, shook his head and walked away when he saw us try to analyze this clip. And big surprise. If you're wondering what that is, it's an alleged merman in a coffin. It's not always usual that we post something like this, but maybe, just maybe, someone here may have seen this in real life and confirmed it was indeed a merman. Julius walked in while we were going through this particular one and shook his head. He asked us if we think the government would allow this on the internet if it was real, and it got us thinking for a while. Then we concluded that the government can't micromanage everything, so things like this could still find their way online and be legit. He then smiled and walked away, but what do you guys think of this? Do you side with him, or do we have a point on this one? I know the clip is blurry, but stick with me. If you look at the clip carefully, you'll see an ape-like being in it, or rather several ape-like beings. The story behind the footage is that the government hired a special ops team to track and film a family of Bigfoot. I have no doubt that the government might be involved in some shady or even paranormal activities they don't want anyone knowing, but this? Oh, the story has red flags all around it. I mean, I don't doubt the government could send a special ops team in search of Bigfoot, but I doubt a special ops team with emphasis on special will record clips as blurry as this. Also, special ops teams are professional. I doubt they'll be uploading their clips on YouTube or leaving traces of it around. Funnily enough, I was not the only one with these sentiments. Different members of the paranormal community felt the same. Take a look at some of these comments. Of all the comments, this took me out. Despite the skepticism, there were some who still believed this was true and genuine. With these many believing this clip is genuine, I've got to ask, what do you guys also think? Perhaps I may have been infected by Julius's skepticism. A document from the CIA has recently become declassified, and it seems to contain information that suggests that the CIA had ongoing projects to investigate the existence of life on Mars. These projects did confirm that life existed on Mars and that they were or are pyramids on the Red Planet. They didn't go there to make this confirmation, though. No, they paid a remote viewer to do that for them. For this unfamiliar with the term, in paranormal terms, a remote viewer is a person who claims to possess the ability to see or perceive events, locations, or objects from a distance without being physically present. This phenomenon is often associated with a practice called remote viewing, or RV for short, which gained attention in the 1970s and 1980s, particularly due to US government-funded programs like Project Stargate, aimed at investigating psychic phenomena for potential military and intelligence applications. Now, back to the story. Scientists tasked a remote viewer with visiting Mars, but here's the twist. The timeline was set to 1 million years BC. Astonishingly, the viewer claimed not only to have visited Mars, but also to have encountered beings living and thriving on the planet. What's even more fascinating is that before these declassified documents surfaced, rumors swirled that remote viewers had already unraveled Mars's ancient history. They reportedly documented an era when tall, advanced beings inhabited the planet long before it was allegedly destroyed in a catastrophic galactic war. Strange, I know, but these are the astonishing glimpses remote viewers claim to have seen. If they're to be believed, then I wonder what else our government is hiding from us. This was captured by a woman at her son's school football game. She was filming her son when something unusual happening inside the school bus caught her attention. The school bus was parked on the side of the field, but take a close look at its windows. There seems to be dark figures moving about through the windows. My paranormal mind is saying that they look like shadow people running around and inside the bus. The woman was so shocked by what she had seen that she shared it online. She wanted answers. Was she seeing something out of this world, or was her mind playing tricks on her? Many who saw the clip asked her to relax and look at the clip logically. To them, it was most likely the reflection of the moving referee on the bus. And when you look at the clip again, you notice that there's a correlation between the movements of the referees and the shadow's movement. But then again, you can't just chalk everything up to being mundane. Maybe there really are shadow people on the bus, and the movement of the referee caused them to move as well. Who knows? What would you do if you encountered mosquitoes that were roughly the same size as your fist? For the individual filming this clip, it was no hypothetical question, as it really did happen. Take a good look. A few seconds into the clip, you realize that whatever these things are, they've got a body that's more human than insect. Once the clip hit the internet, many who saw it believed that these beings were definitely fairies. Now, I've watched the clip several times, and I must say I'm tempted to agree with this hypothesis, but you've also seen it. So what's your take on the situation? A man at sea captured footage of an extraordinary sight, a massive fish swimming around his boat. What makes this encounter truly bizarre was the fish's behavior in the water. As it swam close, it opened its enormous mouth, and inside there appeared to be a reflection of orange flames, almost as if it was breathing fire. A fire-breathing fish? Well, that's certainly a new one on me, but is it real or fake? While the sight is undeniably fascinating, it's crucial to approach such footage with a healthy dose of skepticism. Reflections, water distortion, or even digital effects can create illusions that seem otherworldly. Alternatively, the glowing effect could be due to bioluminescent bacteria, or perhaps it's just a clever hoax. Without more context or scientific analysis, it's hard to say definitively. If real, it would certainly redefine our understanding of marine life. Would you not agree? This intriguing footage comes from El Salvador, showing a helicopter releasing thick white fumes over a town. As the helicopter sprays, you can see people on the ground running to avoid it. However, this is not a cause for alarm. The spraying is part of a fumigation effort aimed at controlling mosquito populations in the area. At least, that's what we are told. Mosquito fumigation is a common practice in regions prone to diseases like dengue fever and malaria, where reducing mosquito numbers is critical for public health. While the footage may seem dramatic, it highlights the measures some countries take to combat health challenges posed by these tiny but dangerous pests. If you love hotels, this is for you. The man filming came across a tunnel in an ordinary hotel room. I'm not sure if this is even legal, but the man who filmed and uploaded this believes the elite are responsible for this tunnel. According to him, the elites have tunnel systems everywhere which we, the ordinary folks, do not know about. Not sure where he got this information from, but if he's been able to find one of them, maybe he's onto something. What do you guys think? Speaking of unusual beings, this is drone footage taken over the ocean. As you can see, there's what looks like a mermaid-like creature swimming in the water. Over the years, people have spotted human fish, hybrid creatures like this in the ocean. While some of them look obviously fake, like a human in a fish costume, this footage looks like it could have some truth to it. After all, it was taken in the middle of the ocean. There's still the possibility of it being fake, but I don't know how someone would go to such lengths to fake something like this. Though there are plenty of people who don't believe these creatures are real, there's also a good number who believe otherwise. So take a good look and tell me, do you think this is real footage of a mermaid? What would you do if you walked into a scene like this? Yes, that's a street filled with people in that uncomfortable pose. According to the uploader of the clip, they were in that state for hours. This led some to believe they needed medical or mental health attention. Others also felt it was some sort of display. There were a few in the paranormal community who felt this was nothing but a glitch in the Matrix. Taking a second look at this, I get where they're coming from. But what's your theory? Do you know scientists might have finally cracked the code to regrowing your teeth? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it's real, and it's happening in a lab in London. Researchers at King's College have created a special treatment made from keratin, the same protein found in your hair, skin, and even wool. Instead of using harsh chemicals, this natural protein forms a protective crystal-like shield over your teeth. That shield does not just look like enamel, it actually behaves like it, blocking nerve channels, easing sensitivity, and repairing early damage before it becomes a full-blown cavity. And here's the kicker. In lab tests, this keratin-coated working even better than the fluoride toothpaste at both protecting and repairing in the animal. Plus, since it's sourced from biological waste, it's way more sustainable than traditional methods and gives a natural tooth-colored finish without the toxin resins that are used in dental treatments today. Crazy, right? Imagine walking into your dentist one day and actually getting your enamel back instead of just patching things up. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. My name's Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Please share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.